Hello everyone and welcome to my channel where I post app development tutorials. In this video we'll go over the basic tools needed to code an iOS app. It will be part of a series that teaches iOS to non-programmers. In this series I'll try to simplify things as much as possible and I'll try to keep it jargon free. But if I do fall into that trap, or if you have any questions in general, just let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And with that, let's get. So what do you need to code an iOS app? Now with iOS apps, or any app for that matter, simplistically speaking, you need two things. One, you need to provide the computer with a set of instructions that the computer can understand in a language that the computer can follow. And two, you need to use a development environment that allows you to apply that language. So in other words, you need functional code and you need a development environment that would allow you to type, run, test, and ultimately distribute that code. Now, in the case of Mac and iOS apps, although there are various tools and languages out there that can be used to develop an iOS app, Apple's official tool is the Xcode, and Apple's official languages are Objective-C and Swift. Objective-C was the main programming language provided by Apple up until Swift was introduced back in 2014. For the sake of this series, I'll be using Swift just because it's a very powerful language, yet it's simple enough that it can be your first programming language. But if you want any of the tutorials done in Objective-C, or if you want all the tutorials done in Objective-C, just let me know in the comments below and I'll do that for you. And that's it. With that, let's go ahead and download Xcode. If you don't have Xcode downloaded already, just go to the App Store, type in Xcode, one word. In my case, it says open just because I have it installed already. And if you don't have it on your system, it'll say get. You can click on that, allow it to download. It'll probably take a while. So make sure that your computer is charged. And then once that is done, open up Xcode. It will prompt you, it might prompt you to download extra tools. You can go ahead and download and install the extra tools, allow the files to run in the background, and then once that is done, you can go ahead and open up Xcode, and you should see this greeting screen over here. On the right side, it would show you the most recent files if you have any, and on the left side, as you can see, we have three options. We'll discuss the first two for now. First one says get started with the playground. The second one says create a new Xcode project. So to explain the difference, we need to know what playgrounds are. So what are playgrounds? Basically, when Apple introduced Swift, they also introduced playgrounds, which is an interactive sandbox environment that allows you to test your results on the go, to type the code and see the results in real time. Now, the way it used to work, the way it typically works with an actual Xcode project, which is the second option over here, is you would type the code and then run it either on an actual iOS device or on some sort of simulator, and only then are you able to see the results. So I'll just exit out of the screen for a minute to show you what I mean. As you can see, on the right side of the screen, we have an Xcode project running on a simulator. Each time a change is made, we need to run that simulator to see the results. Now on the left side, however, we have a playground file. See how you can see the results of the code in the highlighted area over there on the left side of the playground file. Without having to execute the code, it automatically shows you the changes. So this can be really handy if you're trying to test segments of code, or if you're learning this from scratch. It's really neat. But one thing to keep in mind though is that you can't use playgrounds to build actual apps. So for the sake of this series, since my focus is to help you understand the foundations of programming, I'll be doing so using playgrounds. In the future though, we'll probably use Xcode projects to build actual apps. Okay, so I'll exit out the screen now. Back to that greeting screen, you can go ahead and choose to create a playground. Get started with a playground. Okay, it's prompting you for a name, so I'll just keep it as my playground. And under the platform section, you have 3 options. We'll go with iOS for now. Click next. Choose a destination. Where do you want it to be saved? I'll just choose the desktop for now and click create. Another thing to keep in mind is you can also create a new playground from the top menu. If you just go File, New, and then Playground, that's another way to create a new playground. Okay, now you'll notice my screen might look slightly different from yours. To alter how your screen is displayed, you can just go to Xcode, Preferences, and then under fonts and colors and text editing, you can just change it as you wish. Under text editing, make sure to select line numbers. Make sure that this option is checked to make sure that the line numbers are displayed by the code. And under font and colors, you can just go with whatever you like. So you have a couple of options over here, and I'll just go with basic for now. Okay, and then I'll exit out of the screen. And now back to the code. It has this boilerplate code to start things. The first line is a comment. And what is a comment, you ask? Well, comments are annotations used in programming languages to document the program. It doesn't get compiled in the code. It's not part of the running code. It's just there as side notes, if you may. See, if I take these 2 forward slashes, that would change it into running code, into something that the compiler would execute. So I'll just type the forward slashes. So anything that comes after the forward slashes is ignored by the compiler. Okay, another thing about comments is another way to create comments is as so. These are called multi-line comments. So I can just say this is a multi-line comment. Okay. And this too will be ignored by the compiler. And then this line over here, where it says import UI kit, it just imports a framework, a set of resources that deals with the user interface controls in iOS, but more on that later on. And then this third line, but it's no longer the third, this one that says var string equals hello playground. This one declares a variable. The variable is called string, and it has the value of hello playground, but more on variables in the next tutorial, so don't worry about it for now. You can check the next tutorial over here, and in the next tutorial we'll go over variables and constants, how to declare them, how to create them, and so on and so forth. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you want, if you like this kind of tutorials, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.